Okay, it's recording now. So again, in Photoshop, I had opened up an image, and so I'm going to have an animation where it says, "You're my star," or whatever. No, what did I say? "You're A plus in my book," or something like that. And so we'll have all the letters flying around. We'll have like a big heart. How about we do a heart? Because heart is Valentine's Day almost. We'll have the animation of a heart, and then that stuff will kind of fade away, and this kid will fade up at the very end. How about that? Okay. So in this case, we need a picture of a kid. So I just opened this up in Photoshop. I lassoed around the part that I think would work for this animation. I'm going to copy that by, again, the lasso tool is this one right here. And you can just go around whatever part of the image you want. To copy is Command C on the keyboard. So I'm going to bring that actually into Illustrator, and I'm going to make all the artwork except for some of the text. The text I might make in After Effects. Some of the text. We can do some of the text in Illustrator, but some of the text I might make in After Effects. We'll just have to think about it. Again, inside of Illustrator, I went File, New, and after File, New, I got this window, and we're going to do it at 1080 by 1080 pixels right here. So you can type in any dimension you want inside of Illustrator. When you're done, you hit Create. It'll give you a big white box. That white box is called the artboard. First thing I'm going to do is paste the kid in there. So to paste him in, I'm going to hit Command V. Now he might be too big for the artboard. You'll notice when you paste something in, for this case, I'm going to zoom out. The zoom is Command minus, and zoom in is Command plus. So Command minus, Command plus, Command minus, Command plus. Those are how you zoom in the Adobe software, except for Premiere. So Illustrator or Photoshop. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Let's shrink it down. There we go. Okay, he looks kind of cute. There we go. Next, I'm going to put some artwork in there that I can animate. Again, we're going to do a heart and some text. So first thing I'm going to do is make a heart. Now, one of the nice things about a vector-based program is there's a lot of built-in artwork already there. So, and the other thing is layers. So I'm going to drag this layers window over a little bit inside of Illustrator. And you'll notice it says layer 1 right here. Do you see that layer 1? Okay, that layer has the picture in it, and so I'm going to name that picture. So again, if you do not see the layers window, everything's done in layers. If you think about it, when you're going to animate something in any program, each piece that you want to move or fade or do something with has to be on a new layer. Okay, because when you bring it, like if I was going to bring this file that I'm making now into After Effects, I want to bring it in with each layer, and I'm naming each layer so that I know what it is, so that I can do something with it, right? Does that make sense? Just like the animated GIF probably you do, right? Yes. So next I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to make a heart. So I made a new layer. It's right here. It's underneath in the layers window in Illustrator. I click right here and make a new layer. If you want to also make a new layer, another place to make a new layer is in the layers window up here. There's a new layer right there. So you can make new layer here or make new layer there. It makes a new layer. I'm going to change that and I'm going to call it heart. And I'm going to make a heart. How I'm going to make a heart is by using a pre-made heart that's already in the program. To make a pre-made heart, I'm going to go over to the shape tool over here, and there's the fifth one down. You'll notice in the toolbar there's a variety of shapes. You got your rectangle tool, your ellipse tool, and your star tool, and your line segment tool. And let me think about how I can make a heart. I know there's a pre-made heart in here, isn't there? Is there I know there's one in Photoshop. I don't know if there's a pre-made one here. We probably could. I guess I can make a heart out of a polygon. Now, let me try. So I'm going to choose the polygon tool. Hold on, I just want to think if there's a pre-made heart in here that I can easily get to. Well, that's okay. I'm going to use the polygon tool. So I'm going to use the polygon tool and I'm going to click on the screen. And I don't want really a polygon. I want maybe 3 sides. I'll make a triangle. That's fine. I can convert a triangle into a heart pretty easily. So I'm going to make a 3-sided triangle, 3-sided polygon, and I'm going to make it bigger. How I make it bigger is by putting my cursor along the edge of the object. And when I put my cursor along the edge, and let me zoom in a little bit, when I put my cursor along the edge of the object, you'll notice it turns into arrows, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. To move it, I can use the select tool, the first tool right here, and I can move it around. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And then, how am I going to make this into a heart? And then I can color it. Right now it's white. Maybe we want it red. So let's make it red. To color an object inside of Illustrator, there is a color option right here where you have a fill and a stroke. The fill is the color inside, the stroke is a line around the outside. So if I double click right here in the fill, I can double click on it and we can make it red. There we go. We got a red triangle. Again, we have an object in there. Okay, so let me convert this into a heart. To convert this into a heart, basically what I want to do is I want to convert the shapes to have round instead of square, because a heart, you know, kind of have a shape. So I'm going to, let's say, rotate this object. So if you notice, I can put my cursor along the edge, and as I put my cursor along the edge, you see it turns to arrows that point in multiple directions, and I can rotate it around. Let's rotate it upside down like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. There we go. So the next thing I want to do is make some curves and add a point. To make curves, I'm going to convert the edges, the points that are on the edge, to round ones. To do that, I'm going to use a converting tool. Jeez, the converting tool. Well, they keep changing this program on me. Let's see. Where can? Oh, they did change this. What is this? The anchor point. Boy, they did change this program on me. This is 2020. So under the pen tool right here, you'll see there's one called the anchor point tool right here. I'm going to choose that anchor point tool right there, and I'm going to convert this to a round. There we go. Round shape like that. That looks more like a heart, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks more like a heart. And maybe convert this one. There we go. That's more of a heart shape, right? So there's a point tool right here that converts it right there. And then we're going to add a point in the middle here. And I'm going to drag that down. Is that a heart shape? It's not a very nice heart shape, is it? Sorry, it's hard for me to think about how to make a heart in this program. Oh, there we go. There's a heart. There. Okay, there's a heart shape. Whatever, made a heart shape. We'll animate it. So we have a heart. Okay, let's put some text on there. Or we can actually animate the text in After Effects. So we got a heart. We got a kid. Do you want a background color? Okay, maybe we'll make a background color. So let me make another layer, and we'll put a background color in there. Let's put a. I'm going to make another layer, and let me make a rectangle shape here. And let's put that oh, that was in the wrong layer. I wanted to make that in this layer. And then let's make that a color. Okay, blue, blue. Okay, so we have a heart. Everything's on a separate layer. Let's save this, and we'll animate the text inside of After Effects. So to save this, I'm going to go under File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file. This will be my animated ad. Or no, you're using these are social media. Okay, and we'll put it on the desktop. Okay, next I'm going to go and put this into After Effects and then animate it. To do that, I'm going to minimize the Illustrator. I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to quit Photoshop. I don't need that open right now. And I'm going to go to After Effects. I don't have it in my dock, I don't think. Let me see. Do I have it in my dock? Oh, I do. Oh, I'm using 2017, older version. Oh, maybe I have a newer version in my applications folder. No. That's okay. The concepts are the same, even if the tools might be a little bit different. So again, the reason why I would use something like After Effects is do small animations. I can take these animations and put them directly into... it's telling me I don't have enough hard drive space. It's okay. So how this program works is a little bit different. You can almost think of the After Effects as being Photoshop with motion. Okay, when you open up something in Photoshop, you have things that have layers to them, and then when you have things that have layers to them, then you can do things with them. In this case, I am going to import that Illustrator file and tell it to be what's called a composition. A composition is where you have a window that you can do things with. Okay, now you can make your own composition. You see how it says composition right there. You can make a blank one and then just start doing things in this program. But since I've already made some artwork in another program, I'm going to import that and tell that to be a composition because it's already on the side. Remember we made it 1080 by 1080 in Illustrator? I can bring that in here and it'll automatically make it 1080 by 1080. So here we go. To import that program in here, we go underneath File, Import, Import File. So File, Import, Import File. And I'm going to go find that Illustrator file that I just made, and I'm going to say Open. And it's going to ask me what I want to do. So here's the first question it's asking me. You're bringing in an Illustrator file that has multiple layers. What do you want to do? I want to import it as a composition so that all the layers are still separate and I can animate them. Okay, so you see, you can say footage. If you say footage, it's going to squish it all down into one layer. Okay, but if you say composition, it's going to keep those layers separate and you can animate them. So keep composition here. Layer size is fine. It's going to make it the same dimension, and hit OK. First thing you're going to see in the upper corner over here is you'll see your animated thing right here, and you'll see a folder. Okay, so over here is your composition. This is the composition, and then all the pieces in each layer. So now I can go and animate these things separately. So I'm going to double click on here, and it's going to open up here, and then I can start animating. To do that, I go and double click on my composition, and you'll see my thing. Again, I'm going to zoom in and zoom out. I don't think the command, yeah, command minus works on here. Command minus, command plus, whatever. So just like in Premiere, this program works over time. And by default, it looks like it's out to 15 seconds for this. Why is it only 15 seconds? It just made a default second. It didn't even ask me what time. How do I know that? As you can see down here, here is time. Here's time. And over here, 14 seconds right here, so maybe 15 seconds. So this is just like in Premiere, but it's time. And then you can see different pieces of artwork there and so on. It's nice in vector at least, and you can animate it really big. So I'm going to move things in time because I don't want everything starting at the very beginning. If you remember, I want the picture of the dude only to come out at the very end. Is 15 seconds good, you think? Yeah, 15 seconds is good. If you wanted to change the time to be more or less, under the composition settings, under composition pull-down menu, you can change the time to more time or less time. I'll show you that, just so you know. But I'm going to leave it.
Mine just popped up as 30 seconds. Can I just...
Here, no, you can't just drag. Okay, here, let me show you where you can change that. If you want to change the time, it would be under composition, composition settings right here. Under there, then you can actually see right here, duration. Remember the time code that we had in Premiere? Remember the time code in Premiere? So 15 seconds, mine is at. That's because my computer default is probably for 15 seconds, which is probably 30, that's why. You can make it whatever you want there. And again, it's all the same things. You got the dimensions, you got square pixels, you got frame rate, and so on. And then you got a background color, but we made a blue background. So we're able to change it to whatever you want?
I changed it to 10 seconds. Yeah, that's really long.
Okay, next. So you can make it whatever you want. So let's say for the last 5 seconds, the dude's on the screen, or 4 seconds. Notice these little blue bars that are in my timeline. Again, this is called a timeline, just like you have a timeline in the thing. I'm going to click on the blue bar. This is the in point. Remember when we had an in point and out point inside of Premiere? There's input and out point. Right now, in point and out point is for the entire duration because we brought it in like that. If I want the dude only to show up towards the end, I'm going to drag this blue bar all the way over here, and I'm going to have it start maybe at 11 seconds.
How did you get?
I just see how I'm dragging like this. Drag. You just drag the bar right here. See the bar? Yeah. So he's not going to come on until it hits here. Right? We'll have him fade on. I'll show you how to fade him on. Okay, so we'll just have him fade. Remember the transition that we had inside of Premiere? We can do something similar where he comes fading. Okay, next we have a heart there. I don't want the heart to animate right at the very beginning. I'm going to have the heart maybe start around 6 seconds. So between 0 and 6, I'll have some text flying. We'll do the text flying in After Effects. Okay, so I'm going to move the heart over to start around 6 seconds, or maybe 7, somewhere. Yeah, maybe 7 seconds. So let's move that. I'm going to move that. Okay, so right now I have a blue box at the beginning. Remember, this is a time-based program, just like you have in Premiere. There's nothing at frame 1. It's a blue box. It's still there. It's fine. Blue box. In fact, you might want to lock this so that you don't mess with the background. There's a little lock right here. Do you see that right there? Lock that. I don't want that blue box flying around. Okay. Next, let's put our text on there. So I think we said we're going to call it Your Number One in My Book or something like that, right? Or Heart Healthy Stanford Cancer Center. Is that what your cancer center, right?
That would be for like the Heart Institute.
Oh. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so let's do some animated text. To do animated text, the first thing we got to do is actually put some text on the screen. Okay, notice up here that we have a T tool. It's all the way at the very top. Do you see the T? It's at the top up there. T. Okay, make sure your playhead's at the beginning. Because when I type something in, we're going to have the text start at the very beginning. See? Remember, this is just like in Premiere. You have a playhead. Okay, so I'm going to type some text in there. We'll call it Heart Healthy. So I'm going to use the text tool. I'm going to click.
Type into one of those layers?
First, click the text tool, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click. It's going to make a new layer automatically. Watch. If I click, see how it makes a new layer automatically? And let's call it Heart. And then I'm going to put the word healthy as a separate line. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the selection tool, which is the first one, and I'm going to deselect that text, and I may move it kind of towards the middle. I just said heart, and then I'm going to use the text tool again. I'm going to do it heart healthy, 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 and I'm going to move that again in the middle. Again, I'm just making new text each time. And let's just put in the word Stanford. How about that? Stanford. Okay. Because we're going to animate each one of these separately. So kind of spread them out. So they're each in a different line. There we go. And then we'll have the heart fly in. And then we'll have the dude fade on. This is my social media ad here. So again, just like in Premiere, you got time. In time-based. So let's animate each piece of text in. When you animate text, there's a lot of pre-made animations. So we're going to use the pre-made animations. I could show you how to animate by hand, but that would take more than an hour because animation takes a lot of time. So we actually I'll show you how to animate the heart by hand without using But for text, I tend to use the pre-made animation. I use pre-made animation because it's built in. So I'm going to do each layer a little bit separately and probably have them stagger a little. Remember the stair stepping that we had inside of Premiere, right? I'm going to do stair stepping here. So heart will be the first one, then we'll come up with healthy, and then we'll come. So I'm going to move these over a little bit so that they don't all start and come on the screen at the same time. And then we'll have them fade out at the end. So here we go. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. And then move this one over a little bit, like that. So remember the stair stepping? There we go. Okay, so the first one, so as you can see, we only see one piece of text at the first frame. So I just move them over. So animation-wise, video-wise, very similar, having things start at different times, right? Different times. Okay, so now animate, animate, animate. Then we'll fade it off here, and then we'll animate the heart. You know, we'll have a beat. How about we have boom, 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 fade off, and then the kid fades on. So thinking, you know, when I'm doing animation, I have to think about what I'm doing. Usually, I draw it on the board, so I know what I'm doing at this point. Okay, so how do we animate the text? It is a pop-up window. It's called Effects and Presets. So go find the one that says Effects and Presets. Inside the effects and presets, there is one for animation presets. If I twirl that one down, you'll see there is one that's in there for text. If you look there, it's under text. If I twirl that one down, there's a whole bunch of them in there for text. And they all do different things. So again, did you find it? Yes? Okay. The ones I like is animate in, because that's going to have the text that will animate onto the screen. So maybe it starts off the screen and then comes onto the screen. So I'm going to click on that one, and so you got center, spiral. So you can test them, and if you don't like it, undo. So watch me do it and then try. So I went to the one that said animate in. So let's say I like, let's see, character shuffle in, and express eye chart, fade up and flip, raining character, how about we do raining characters in? I'm going to try that one. So if you want to try one of these, you click on it and drag it on top of your text, release the mouse, then you say, well, what happened? Well, here, not yet. I'm going to hit the space bar to preview. Remember space bar to preview in Premiere? Same in here. Hit the space bar and see what it does. It's going to come flying in like that. And you say, well, if I don't like that one, then I want you to go under Undo Effects. And then try another one. Actually, I kind of like that one. It was a little slow. How about maybe center spiral? How about that? We're going to click on that. Try it. And then hit preview again. That one's kind of interesting.
It did it to all of my text.
Just drag it onto one layer. Oh, is all your text in one layer?
No.
Okay, hold on a minute. Don't have maybe your layers are selected. Let me see.
Oh, no.
They're just coming on.
Come
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So let's try another one. I'm going to apply, so I'm going to keep that one there. Let me try another one. I'm going to click on another text here. I'm going to try another one. Let's say I want to spin by character. Oops. You need to get your actual text on so you can see it. Spin by character. Let me try that one. Oh, that's not good because well, I guess I don't like that. I like it to start off the screen. Some of these don't start off the screen. How about typewriter? Okay, let's see. Oh, did I undo the heart one? I think I undid the heart one. Which one did I? Oh, a spiral spin. Okay, there we go. So we got a spiral spin, heart, healthy, Stanford. So the last one is Stanford. Let's move that down a little bit so it comes in a little bit later. And then let's see. How about we try stretch in each word, stretch in each line, stretch by word, spin by word, Maybe try a different one. I don't know. I was just going off of those coming in. There's a whole bunch of them. You could sit through and just try them all. There's a lot. And there's 3D ones where you can have 3D spin. So we can have the word Stanford fly. Flip up reflection. Let's try that. Let's see. Heart, healthy, stand for... Okay, I don't know. You get the idea there. I don't know if I like that. How about we basic 3D rotate? Let me try that. That's better. Okay, that's kind of cool. That was under 3D effects. So there was one called 3D text, and I found a couple under there. So you got 3D text or animate in. Both of those have good stuff, I think, that you might be able to use. So spend some time looking at those and seeing what you can do. Okay? Okay. So now when the heart comes on, so after that's there, so it comes on, and then the heart comes in. I don't want the text to be on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of chop, end the text here. Now to end the text here is kind of difficult in this program. It's not like you have the razor blade tool that you can just cut there. Usually what I do is I would try and drag the end point. So there's like an end point over here that you could drag. So I know this is not easy at all, and I don't have an answer to how to make it easy here. But let's look at the first text, which is the heart one. You'll notice there is an end that goes all the way to the very end. I don't want that all the way at the very end. I want it kind of to stop here. So if I put my cursor all the way here to the edge, you see you get an arrow that goes in both directions. That allows me to drag it to end there. Kind of like we had in Premiere where you had that little bar and you could drag it a little bit. So if I drag that in, I can have that text end there. Now here's the problem, is that I can't get to the end of this one because as soon as I moved it over, the end point's out of the visual range here. So I actually have to I'm going to fake this a little bit. I'm going to move this back, and then I'm going to start dragging it there. Then I'm going to move it back. So I have to actually physically move some things around to get to the end there. But then I can stop that there. And then same with this one. I might have to move the window over a little bit so I can get my cursor to the end here, so I can grab that end point and then kind of move it around here like that. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. There's no like razor blade where you can just go and cut. I mean, it was so nice inside of Premiere that you could just have a razor blade and just go like that, right? Do you remember that in Premiere? But here you can't really do that. So
there's not a problem it keeps going into the future, like, or do you scroll all the way right?
no, because it ends like right here. No, it kind of ends. I don't know why. Actually, the people that made this program were called COSA. I remember I was at an Adobe conference in, where was it? In Toronto. Not Adobe, it was a Mac conference, but I was at an Adobe meeting, and they were giving away T-shirts, and they said, can anybody name what the original company name that owned After Effects? And I was like the first person. COSA. So that actually this software was not made by Adobe. They purchased it. So let's animate the heart. We're going to do it by hand. Whoosh. How about we have it really big and it comes spinning in and fade in and pop right in the middle of the screen like that. How about that? Okay. So how we're going to do that is we're going to twirl. So let me show you. I'm going to move the window up a little bit here. I'm done with these presets. I'm not going to use them anymore. They're gone. So again, here is my heart right here. So I'm going to twirl down the triangle, and so to animate things by hand without using a preset. I know we used a preset text and everything. To animate this by hand, you do it down here in the actual timeline. So in the timeline itself, you'll notice there's like a little triangle that's over here. See the little triangle next to the word heart right there? If I turn that triangle down, you'll see there's an option called transform. These are almost the same transform tools that you had in Premiere. If I turn that one down, you'll see that you got a multiple things. Okay, let's talk about them right now. So the first one is the anchor point. That is the center position. So if you want to rotate this, and you'll see there's a rotation. If you want to rotate this around another point, you can move this anchor point, right? Because right now it's going to rotate around the center. But in theory, you can actually put it down here if you wanted it to rotate around that. So again, this one's the anchor point where it'll rotate or scale from. This is the position on the screen. This is the scale, which is the same size we made it in Illustrator. And then there's the rotation and then opacity. Well, we're going to change opacity so it's invisible, and as it's spinning in, it'll become visible. We're going to change this. We're going to change the rotation so it spins real fast in, and then we'll change the scale so it's really big and it gets small, pops right in the middle. Okay, so these are things simple animation things that you would do. Now when I'm animating, I kind of animate backwards. This is where I want it to end up, in the center of the screen, right? I want it to stop there. So I'm going to go put a point there at the end where I want it to stop. Okay? And then I'm going to change the beginning. So I kind of, if you understand what I mean by animating backwards, I know the final position, but I don't know where I want it to start. So let's put the final position in where we want it, and then we'll go back to the first part and change that. Okay, so watch how I do that. So again, somewhere around 10 seconds, I would say here, I want it to stop. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go and put keyframes there. What are the keyframes? Keyframes are moments in time. So if you look over here in the timeline, remember we said we're going to change scale. We said we're going to change rotation, and we said we're going to change opacity. So we can change all three of those, and this is where we want it to end. So you see I put moments in time. Hey, there, set, perfect. Now I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. So I'm going to put the playhead back to the very beginning where it started, and I'm going to scale it really big, change the opacity, and rotate it maybe 5 times. No, you don't want to go too fast. Maybe 3 times. How about that? Okay. It'll get too crazy, maybe. So here we go. I'm going to put my playhead all the way back to the beginning. Then again, I'm going to make some moments in time. Again, you can hit the keyframe here if you want. Or if you change it, I think it'll automatically add a keyframe. Let's add keyframes anyways. Again, to add a keyframe, first time was to use the stopwatch thing to add a keyframe. But now I'm going to click this little diamond right here. See, there's like a little diamond here. There's a little diamond here, and there's a little diamond there.
Why is it different than before?
Because once you don't need to hit the stopwatch, because the stopwatch says, hey, I'm going to animate this. But you put diamonds in to change moments in time. I don't know.
Stop things are going to start.
Yeah. So the first time when I put these keyframes over here, I click the stopwatch. But to add more keyframes, you use the diamonds. If that makes sense. Okay, here we go. So let's rotate it now. To rotate it, we're going to say maybe, let's say like 3 times. So I'm going to hit 3 in there. And then I'm going to scale it really big. You can put your cursor over the numbers if you want and make it really big like that. And then we want it to fade off, so it's transparent. So we're going to transparent it down to 0. So again, where my playhead is, it's transparent, but don't worry, it's going to go to 100% here. So it's going to transition to 100% there. It's going to rotate 3 times. 3 times, and then it's going to scale from big, like you saw me make it big, and it's going to come in. So let's see what it looks like, and then you can try. So if I hit the play button, you see it spinning in and stopping. I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but hey, It is the concept I'm trying to give you. So again, it's going to come flying in and stop. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me see. You put your fish over the top of that. No, come back. Come back here. No, come back. There you go. And so what do you have? You need to. So you only put degrees. So if you want to spin, it's the first 0, not that one. You put 3. Now turn that back to 0. That's 0. And go back to the first one. That has 3 or 4. Okay. And then your capacity is at 0, and then scale. Can you scale up? I do mine's almost 500. Unit mouse. And then you just type in like 400. Okay. Now hit play and see what it does. Okay, what about here? Can you tell me what's at this position? Right over top of it. Okay, the opacity is at 0, so that needs to be 100. It's transparent, so type in 100. There you go. Now I see it. And the scale's kind of big. Maybe shrink that down a little bit. Go back to 100 there. Hit 10. There you go. Okay, go back to the beginning and see it spin. Let it spin. Okay, there you go. It's just you need to get the numbers right, and that'll do what it does. Not too bad. Okay, then we'll have it go away and we'll fade the people in. Okay?
So hold on, let's go from the beginning. Okay, let's finish and then you can show it to me. Okay, last thing here we go is to fade the heart out. So I'm going to fade the heart out by putting my cursor kind of towards where the dude is at over here, where the dude comes on. And in the opacity, I'm going to click on the keyframe. So I actually have 3 keyframes for the opacity, and I'm going to turn that back down to 0. So it's going to come flying on, and then it's going to fade off. Do you see that? So again, it comes flying on, and then it fades off, and then we'll get the kid to fade on. So to get the kid to fade on, I'm going to go down to where it says 5 here, and where the picture is. I'm going to open that up, and then just like we did, it's going to be opacity. So I'm going to put a keyframe in. I want him to be transparent here at the beginning. So I'm going to go over a little bit, maybe about 4 or 5 for about 1 second, maybe, or 30 seconds or 30 frames. And go to opacity and turn that on, and then go all the way back to the very beginning, and then turn that opacity keyframe and turn that down to 0. So he'll fade on. So just like we did with the star, you can fade the opacity. So here we go. Let's start at the very beginning. So if my text comes fading on because we use some pre-made text, heart healthy, Stanford. The heart comes flying in, fades out, and the dude comes fading on because we used opacity. So if you want things to fade, opacity is the way. And then the last thing is we want to put it on our Instagram. Okay. Let me see. You can go to the photo. You need a triangle on for that. You would have to roll the triangle. There you go. And then you move the playhead so you can see the picture. There you go. Oh, and then you want to fade that star off first. So you put the opacity. No, that's what you would do. Move it over a little bit. Move it from there. Opacity, put the stop on. Okay, let's preview it all the way from the beginning. One of the problems with the triangle right there. And you can make it, if you want to fade slower, you can drag that triangle right there to the right. So that you can, yeah, so that you don't want them to come on so fast. Go this way. This is time based, right? So as you move that, it's longer in time. Remember, like in the transition when we were making it longer. Okay, so I know this program seems a little bit complicated, but you know, if you try it, you'll get used to it. It's very useful, I find. So how do I export this now? Remember how we were exporting in Premiere, all the different formats and everything? So here's a little bit different. Let me save this here. So I'm going to go under File, Save. It's going to ask me to give it a name. I'm going to call this Add. Notice it has an AEP file format for After Effects. Okay, to export this in for a format, we can do all kinds of different formats. You know, you can make this an anime GIF if you want to put it on your Instagram page or everything else. So to export it, I'm going to go under Composition. Well, it depends on the version that we have here. Yeah, I don't know. What version are you using there? See, the problem with this program is you can't render out of this. It wants to go to a separate program to make a video. And the separate program is called Media Encoder. So if I go under Composition and I go to Add to Render Queue, Add to Adobe Media Encoder. Either there or under File, Export, Add to Media Encoder. You can't render directly in here. And if you go there, it's going to open up a separate program called Adobe Media Encoder. And I don't know why they do this, but it opens up a second. Well, I don't know, just try it to see what it does. But yours is a different version. Mine's 2000. Oh, it is? Okay, there you go. So those of you who we were talking compression today, right? Remember all the talk about compression today and talking about compression and everything? Well, this program can be used to compress your video in so many, even more formats than you saw inside Premiere. This one can compress, and basically it's a great program for converting from one video format to another. The other thing that's nice about this program is it can be queued up where you can have it do batch processing. You know, let's say you have 20 video files you need to convert to a different format. This program can do it, and it'll do it all in batch processing. You'll notice there's a whole thing. This is GoPro, there's H.264, JPEG, there's a whole bunch of different options in here as well. So in this case, you'll notice it has a window up here in the upper corner. And right now it's going to say match source high bit rate. It's going to automatically go to H.264. But if you click on the triangle there, just like you had inside of Premiere, you can change this to QuickTime or whatever, you can this and so on. So if I was going to put this on social media, I'm going to look at the movie here. But that's so good, right? No, it doesn't? Okay, so MP4? Okay, let's do MP4 then. I don't know, I don't do social media. I don't do any social media. So let's just leave the H.264 then. And let's go over here, and you'll see, here's all the different formats, and you can see there's probably more. Look at that. You got Android Fire, you got Kindle Fire, and all those things. Look at all that. Hell, I'd probably just use the YouTube format. Now, the problem is the size is wrong, right? The size is wrong. You know, I don't really want... Well, I guess we're doing 1080p, right? I don't know. We can do 1080p. I guess so. Okay, well let's see what that does. 1080p. Yeah. Now we might have to do. Actually, we might have to do match bitrate. Match bitrate. I don't know what this is going to do. Let me export it out and see. This is where it's going to tell you where you go. So if you click here, I don't want to put it in this folder. It's going to try and put it in its own folder. I'm going to click on that and put it on my desktop so I can see it. I'm afraid it's gonna squish it or something. I don't know. I'm gonna see what it does. So I'm gonna hit the button right here, the little play button, and I'm gonna see what it does. Yeah, see, it's putting black around the outside. I don't want it black. I just want it the right side. So I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna actually stop that. Yes, I'm gonna stop that. Now how can I get back to doing it again? Oh, Jesus, this program is very moody. Is that a word? Look, it didn't even stop it. Stop here. Would you have chosen to stop here? Would you like to finish the current file? No. Okay. Let me try this again. I'm going to get it exactly 1080 by 1080. The problem with this format is it thinks that you want to be this way, and we want to do it square. So let me go back. Let me delete this. Let me go back to After Effects here. Let me go back. Here we go. Let me see. I'm going to go under File again. Add to Adobe Media Q Encoder. And I don't want this. What do I want? I want it to be the right size.
Is there a place we can change the parameters?
Yeah, I just clicked on it there. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for here. Oh, video, thank you. Yeah, there it is, 1080 by 10. So instead of using the YouTube one, say match source. And if you do H.264, it should be MP4 as well, right? Because that should be MP4. So I did match source high bit rate, maybe medium bit rate. But under video, it looks like it's 1080 by 1080 then. Yeah, thank you for... I had to go back to After Effects. So here, let me...
I did that. I went back. I put it on match source, but where's the video?
If you click in this window right here, click here, it'll open up. This looks kind of like it did in Premiere, doesn't it? Right? Okay. So then let's change where it's located. Let's put this on the desktop again. I don't want to put it in whatever crazy folder it's trying to put it in. And then let me try and render that again. Here we go.
It's faster.
Yeah. There we go. And then let's see what it looks like. Let me hide this, and let me hide this. And here it is. Oh, it's on the desktop in MP4 format. Let's open it with QuickTime. And here it is. Oh, let me fit it to the window. Oh. What's that? Hold on a second. Let me. There it goes. Okay, so it does work. Let me see yours. What happened?
Oh, no, it's just I don't even know. There's so many.
Did you tell it to go on your desktop, or what did
Yeah,
you say?
I don't know if that was the first one or the second one.
There you go. Animation. It's not easy. It takes time. I recorded this video, so you can go and watch it again.
How can I find it?
It's on my channel. It's called Cool to Film. I will